All right, can everybody see the ICA website? Hopefully. All right, just Guy or Renee or Sylvia, can you confirm you guys can see my screen on the ICA website?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so all of the municipal firefighter cancer reimbursements, which I'm going to probably now refer to as Mfcr, can be made through the ICA community. I know a lot of you on the call are already ICA community users, but in case you are not, I was going to go through first how you can access the community. From the ICA homepage, you can access it from online services, and you would just access ICA community. You also can go on the claim page, and there will be access points there. So I'm going to be doing my demo through our user environments because all of the functionality will be available through the community starting tomorrow, July 1st. So in order to create a user for the ICA community, you go to the home page, and all carrier self-insurance and TPAs, as well as pools, will have the ability to request Mfcr reimbursements. So in order to request new user access, so let me make something clear. If you already have a community user, you do not need to request a new community user. When you log in tomorrow, you will have access to the new menu options for municipal firefighter cancer reimbursements as well as cancer claim reporting. You'll see both of those on your page. But if you are not a user of the community, you would go on to the front page. You would select the request access for municipal firefighter cancer reimbursements. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. In order to do that, you would be entering in your name. I'm just going to step through this. The items with an asterisk are required, but if you do, go ahead and answer, the phone number, your fax number, your business address. You're going to get to watch my typing here. Go ahead and go through all of the, all of the fields. You'll want to put in your email. So if I'm just going to do an email for now. Your email will be your username. And so then you can scroll here and you can hit submit. If you notice that when you select Mfcr or cancer claim reporting, you'll automatically be a party type of a carrier, TPA, self-insured employer. All right, so you'll have some validations if you type anything wrong. See, that was just to show. And then when you're creating a user, we need to verify your identity and your affiliation with your organization. So you'll want to take a picture of your driver's license, a state ID, passport, military ID, or a company picture ID. So if you could take a picture and upload those files. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and upload my, my picture of my driver's license. It accepts JPEGs in different file formats. I can hit upload, and then it's going to ask for you to verify your affiliation with the organization. You can again take a picture or scan your business card, company letterhead, have a company ID. All three of these, if you select these top three, it will require you to upload a file. If you select email domain of organization, that means that your email address is like has the domain of your organization, really. So it's either at azica.com, at travelers.com, at City of Phoenix. We're able to verify that if you have an email domain of your organization, that you are affiliated with that organization. This item will not require an upload. So once you upload those items, it will go ahead and submit a request into the ICA. They will, right here, it says, thank you for registering with the ICA. It's being processed. And as soon as you're approved for access, you will get an email so that you can set up your password and log in. Just so you know, for new users, you only have to do this process once. Once you have your user, then you can just log in with your password. So this is the email, for example, that you would get to say welcome to the ICA Claims community. Click here to set your password, and your username will be your email address. So once you have set up your new user, or if you already are a user of the portal, you'll go ahead and select login. You'll log in with your email address and your password, and you'll access the community homepage. So what we did for the community is we just added an additional menu tab here for Mfcr reimbursement request. Just so you know, depending on how large your resolution is, you may have a more, and you may see other options under the more tab. So if you don't see it directly on your menu bar, go ahead to the more to access. So once I say select Mfcr reimbursement request, this will be available for the reporting time period that you can submit requests. So I believe that's July 1st through the end of August. You guys can correct me if that's wrong. So to get started, you're going to select request for reimbursement. The very first, we have a path here where we have attestation, general data, and claim-specific data. We also have the ability to download the Mfcr user guide. So everyone will have access to this. Once you download it, it will, I have it open here, it will give you a step-by-step with screen prints of how to enter in your reimbursement requests. We will get into this a little bit further when we get into Appendix A has, I'm going to go through, I'm sorry to make you guys dizzy. Appendix A has all of the fields and some validations. This is a little bit more of the data that needs to be entered, and we'll talk about that as we go through here. So, but for the first place, the attestation, please read and certify that everything is true, accurate, and complete. Enter in your full name. I've been testing, so my name is auto-populated in there, along with today's date, and hit continue. And so when you access this page, it will pull in information from your community user record. So it pulled in the name of, it pulled in my name for the person submitting it, the primary contact, phone, email, and it pulled in the current reimbursement period based on the current year. So the only field that you would need to change here is you would be able to do a lookup for, I'm going to use City of Glendale as my example today. Go ahead and select the payer requesting reimbursement. If you want to change any of this, if I'm the person submitting, but I want Renee to be the contact, I would be able to change any of this information. Also if you see these little eye icons, these are help text, so that it just gives a description of what the field is. If you've had any question. So go ahead and fill out the general data, and then you would hit continue. Just to fill out or to submit the claim information, we have two ways to do that. We can either do manual entry or we can do CSV import. As we've discussed, manual entry we'll go through that. It's a really easy user interface. CSV import is something you might want to use if you're able to create a report out of your system, download it in the format that we need, and then you'd be able to upload a CSV import in order to do multiple, if you have a high number of claims that request reimbursement. So I'm first going to go through the manual entry. So what you do here is you would hit the plus button, add an Mfcr claim. And Guy, if anybody has questions along the way, please stop me because I actually cannot see the chat. So, but we'll go through here. The first field, so what we need to do is we need to add an ICA claim number. And this ICA claim number will be validated against the ICA Salesforce system. So it does need to be a valid claim within our system. So I am going to get my test claim and copy it in there. We do have some validations, so anything with the red asterisk again will be required. We'll go through some of the other validations. But if you put in a incorrect claim number, and let's say we hit add, it should be giving a message saying that that is not valid, and it'll give you all of these incomplete fields. So then we're going to have the carrier claim number. So I'm just going to make up a number for us here for this demo. And then you're going to search for the municipal employer. So there you guys, there we go. So we have a list of all the municipal employers that are here in the that are eligible for reimbursement. So for right now, I'm just going to pick Apache Junction. I know that my data is probably not accurate, so sorry about that. And then we're going to do claimant's first name, last name, date of birth is requested, the date of injury is requested. I'm going to just kind of go through here and submit some information. Then they ask for a cancer type. So you can say it's lung cancer. You would just enter that in. Again, here we do have little indicators of what the description should be for the fields. So for the occupational description code, we do have a drop down. So we're going to say this is a fire investigator. It should have, and all of these fields should have drop downs of valid values. So for this one, we're going to say it's a medical only claim. Award type, LEC, permanent disability temporary, we'll say it's an LEC. The claim status, is it open or closed? The claim activity is, if it's open, you could do reopened, rearrangement, settlement, or open to active benefits or supportive care only. I'm going to pick up open to active benefits. And then we have the amount fields. So we have 3 fields for paid medical and 3 fields for medical and 3 fields for indemnity. So incurred medical is the amount of medical incurred, paid, and reserves for the lifetime of the claim. Cumulative paid medical is the amount of medical paid cumulatively for the lifetime of the claim. And year-to-date paid is the amount medical paid in the past reporting year. And that is the amount that you are that you are requesting the reimbursement for. Same things for incurred indemnities, the amount they paid and reserves for indemnity, cumulative, and then the year to date would be the indemnity that you are requesting reimbursement for. So there's also one validation that I want to show. So if you would be entering your dollar amounts, and if I say add here, we are making sure that incurred medical should be greater than cumulative, and cumulative should be greater than year to date. So we do have some validations along the way to help you with your entry. So I just need to change those up. Okay. I'm just going to enter in some values here and just test data. And then we have a question about apportionment. So is apportionment applicable to this claim? Yes or no? If you click yes, 2 additional fields are presented. One is the apportionment type, and the last is the apportionment reimbursement received. So let's say that was $100. So just to clarify here, the amount of apportionment reimbursement received will be reduced from the year-to-date paid to calculate the reimbursement amount. So after I finished entering all the fields, I would go ahead and say add claim. And here it gives us a summary of the year-to-date paid medical, year-to-date paid indemnity, the apportionment, which is subtracted, and your reimbursement amount is $1,200 for that claim. You have the ability here to go back and edit any information you would want by clicking the edit button, or you could remove this claim. And then if you had additional claims that you request reimbursement for, you would go ahead and just keep adding the claims one by one, and they would be added to the grid, and one reimbursement request would come into the ICA for all of these claims. So I'm just going to finish this off so that you can see the end process. So if I would go, say I only had one claim that needed to be reimbursed, I would go ahead and hit submit. It will give you an "Are you sure?" Once you submit, cannot be reversed. You would submit that, and you would get a success with a little summary of what you submitted. Also, that you will get a confirmation email that just states that thank you for your submission. You've submitted the number of requests on this date, so that you have a confirmation. Does anybody have questions before I go into the CSV import?
We have one question here from Diane. It says, was there an option for death benefits?
So Sylvia and Renee, are we, let me go back to the screen, but.
There is. There should be, yeah.
Did I miss that on the screen here? Let me just, let me go back through here real quick. Yeah, I don't have that on the screen. So if that is something we might need to, let me look at my thing. We might need to address.
And then we have a second question asking, are any supporting documents needed, like a benefits printout?
It's my understanding that no, that, and again, Sylvia and Renee, please answer this, that you are required to keep your own background support. We're just asking for the data elements. Does that sound correct?
Right. You're just going to submit your information, and then we have a period of time when we will review it. So if there's anything that doesn't make sense to us or we need follow-up, we'll contact you. But for starters, you don't need to submit a whole bunch of documentation. And yes, there is the ability for us to come out and audit at some point if we feel we need to. But in general, most of our questions will probably be answered with a simple phone call.
So let me go through the CSV import, and then we can kind of come back to, if there's any other questions, and then kind of discuss maybe real quickly, Sylvia, like you said, what the process will be once these have been submitted, how it goes through an ICA review. So if you come into here, I went ahead and I did the attestation.
Really, can I add about the death benefits real quick before you move on?
Sure.
I got to go back and revisit the UAT. One of the thoughts was that we really didn't need to know that there are death benefits. So if you are paying indemnity and it's from an LEC, then of course, then that's the option you would select under award type. Because I can actually go into the system whether it's death benefits or not. Does that clarify? Do I need to say that again, or under award type, choose an option? Yeah, so they would choose, it's usually an LEC, so, okay.
Yeah, so they would choose LEC here, and what you're saying is that we don't need to know that it's death benefits, just include those in your indemnity amounts. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so just choose your award type, basically, even if there's no LEC. How's that? Clarify. Does that answer your question, Diane? Okay, cool. All right, if you have questions, just email me too. Thank you.
Okay, so going through, just to start, I'm going to start a new request, and I'm going to do the CSV upload portion. So again, I'm certifying that I'm Julie Hill. I'm going to hit continue. It would be the same here, that we would, select our city. I'm going to keep all of this the same because I am the requester and the primary contact. We tried to make it the user interface as easy as possible. So if you had a CSV file that you wanted to import instead of doing a manual entry of each claim, you would go ahead and do this toggle and switch to CSV import. It's going to make sure, it's going to ask you if you change your option, any other changes will be lost. So if you've added two MFCR claims manually and then switch to CSV, those manual entry claims will be lost. So make sure you make your change at the beginning. You have to do one or the other. And then we have a lot of instructions here. Again, working with a CSV is a little bit more technical. And so we have the ability, we have all these instructions and we have the user guide. But what you would do is you would download the CSV template. And what you would do is this is the format that we need the CSV to be in order to understand what data goes with which fields. So if I open that template, and I just expand, here is the field order and all of the fields that would need to be entered for a CSV upload. CSV is a little bit different, the formatting, than doing it online and manually. We don't have like the drop downs available. So you would want to really use the user guide here in order to see what the acceptable values are. So this is where we have all the fields and it's what the accepted values are. For example, the occupational description code, it's not firefighter or fire investigator, it's either an O1 or an O2. You know, claim status, it needs to either say open or closed. So this gives you all, and these should all be currency. So it gives you the acceptable values or the data formats that is needed. So for this demo purposes, I'm going to go ahead and I have one file that's already ready to be uploaded. And so what you would do here is if you have the file ready, that's all you do is go to upload files. And I'm going to go to desktop and I have my Mfcr demo file. And right away it uploads it and it does some validations. So the big red banner lets you know that there were some issues. And so you're able to download the issue report. So if I open this item, and I'm going to get rid of that one, don't save. Okay, here is the file that I uploaded. And if I make the, you know, all the columns big enough, it provides me with the data that I submitted. And then the very last column, column W, is the errors that they found within that row. So if you have 20 claims, you know, in this CSV, you would have any claim that has an error would have data in column W, excuse me. As you can see for this one, hopefully you can see it okay. I have two errors. It says error column 6, date of birth, 5/15/2071, date cannot be greater than current date. So I know I need to create, it does a validation that you can't have a future dated birth. And then error column 18, cumulative paid indemnity. Oh, this is that same validation that we saw with the manual, saying that the cumulative paid indemnity should not be greater than the year to date. So you can either go back to your original file and make these corrections, or you can use this error file, go back, and I know I need to change my date of birth. Okay, yep, that was supposed to be 1971. Oh, that's still not, that still probably will not work. It might. And then I know that my cumulative paid indemnity is too high. Oh no, my year-to-date indemnity is over my cumulative. So I'm going to change this to be just $200. And then what you would do is you would, if you're going to use your error file, you need to delete this error column. Okay. And then, so I would make my changes, delete the error column, and I'm going to say, okay, here is my new file. And I'm going to save it on my desktop. Close that out. And now I can upload again, and I can go find that Mfcr new, open, and now I got a green success. and it told me I have one claims uploaded with, again, a requested amount of $1,200. If you upload it again, you wouldn't see much change on the screen. It would just stay red, but it would let you to do a new error download. So if you keep like uploading and getting a red banner, keep doing the error file download to see the new errors in the report. But once you have a success, you can go ahead and hit submit. Again, once you submit it, it'll get a message and it'll get a success. And this is the end of the process. And it says that you have submitted it, and you will get an email letting you know that you submitted that reimbursement request. Again, if I would have done multiple claims or multiple claims in the CSV, it would have told me you've submitted 10 reimbursements with a total reimbursement value, of all 10 of those. So does anybody have any questions on this, on the demo? So the other thing I was going to mention then, Sylvia or Renee, you probably can expand on this, but what happens then is that we will be gathering reimbursement requests during the reporting, during the reporting time period. Each one of those will be reviewed, and submitters or contact people will be contacted if there's any problems. Definitely the ICA will have to review to see if there's, to ensure no duplicates, and to ensure that the reimbursements that are being requested fall under the guidelines that are eligible. All right, so
Okay.
back to you, Guy, if anybody has any other questions.
Yeah, so any other questions on anything at this point with respect to the reimbursement fund?
I did want to address, someone had asked a question in the chat, in case everyone's not looking at the chat. In regards to the fund balance will carry forward. So if, we have 15 million in there right now, and we only get claims for about 5 million, then the remaining 10 million will roll into next year. So we will collect new assessments, add the carryover, and that will become our new balance. So there will always be a rollover if any excess funds. In addition, the fund does earn some interest, so that helps a little bit too. So that will increase the balance of the fund. In regards to process, because we have to have all the reimbursements in before we can determine how much of it we can reimburse. Even though they're all due by August 31st, it might take us a few months to get through the review process, because we have to have the full population. Once we have the full population of eligible reimbursements, then we can process the reimbursement claims. So it will take a few months for us to get through that process, particularly this first year. It's new for us.
All right, and so there's a question about whether the reimbursement check will be a single check to the municipal payer, or will there be individual checks?
Good question. I think it will be a single check. We have the process automated with the accounting system, and I think it will create one check. Yes, I think it will create one check. So if you have multiple cities that you're handling, I believe you'll get one check, and each line will be, a separate line. I think that all that information will be available. That's not a 100% answer from me. I apologize, but I do believe you'll just get one payment with everything once we have processed everything.
One thing I wanted to add as well, since this is the first year, we'll probably be a little bit slow doing checking and auditing, but there may be requests to see like copies of invoices and proof of payment, like on the medical side and stuff. So just randomly. So if that request is made, I just wanted to let you know that yes, it is be random, and if you could expedite that, then that would help move this process along as well.
All right. Well, last call for questions. Okay, and I know some people jumped on late, and so this session has been recorded. We'll have the recording available, as well as the deck slides from the presentation that were presented. So if there are no more questions, thank you all for joining. And for the questions that you did pose, they were very good questions. And have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.